Now, this is going to be kind of more of a detailed technical type video. Hopefully I can explain and help somebody out here. But on my last video, somebody had commented that about when I changed the pressure, the pressure safety switch on hydraulics here. He had mentioned they've changed it several times and still have problems. The main problem they're having, they're saying, is the booms and the bucket don't work. You can't dump it, you can't raise the booms, but it'll drive. Well, that pressure switch would have nothing to do with that. That's just overall hydraulic pressure for the system. It's more than likely something in the control valve is not making connection. And like I say, you can start this and drive this at any time because it's got the handbrake. You don't have to worry about releasing electric brakes. But let me get up in here if I can. Because I have an intermittent problem with this thing where the controls won't work sometimes. And it all has to do with the safety in the seat part. Now there is, and I'm not going to lift this up, but there is 2 switches in the bottom here that when you sit on it, press to close them switches. And you can test them by pulling the plug off the end. Now, if you've seen the video where I was trying to get the booms up in the air so I could put the starter in it last fall, I had to get them unlocked. And what I ended up doing is I pulled these switch wires off and you put a jumper in each one. And then that bypasses them, indicates, and then if things work fine, then you know one of them switches is bad. The other part of it is there's the switch and the seat belt. So when you engage the seat belt, it closes that switch in there. You can see it back there. And you can see them 2 wires right there, the green and brown one. That's what this is supposed to plug into. So it completes that switch. And like I said, you got to be in the seat, and the seat belt's got to be done to unlock everything. And this is the other thing. Got to make sure this is in the run position, not the service. If this is in service, it'll move and it'll start, and you can start it without being in the seat. But you have to be in run to unlock everything. So if it's something in the safety system, it's either the switch in the seats, there's 2 of them, the seatbelt switch, and this switch has to be in run, or else it won't unlock anything. The problem I have here is the switch in the seatbelt is bad, and I'm not spending, I think it was 160, 180, maybe it's 200 bucks for it. And the thing is, too, every time if you're out of seat more than 2 seconds, you gotta relatch the seatbelt. So, and that's the other thing. I'm getting in and out of this thing all the time, so it's a little bit of a pain in the ass. So that's why I have this rigged up for, because I'm not spending the money for the seat switch, another seat belt. I've already put one in this thing years ago, and I'm not going to do it again. But all I did was take one of these 2-wire plugs, like trailer type plug, and wired it up to this switch like this. One goes to one wire, one goes to the other, and it plugs into that gray and brown wires back there. Now the problem I have is the plug I got on this is slightly different sized than that wire back there. So it makes contact, but if it doesn't line up just right, it'll flicker. And anytime you're not getting contact, your parking light's on. I don't know why. Well, that goes into your, that's the other switch too, in your brake lever. I think there's another switch. When you pull that, that light comes on. But I don't think mine works either. I haven't bypassed that, so I don't know. But anyway, I got this hooked up to the seat belt. So when I come here and go to start it, I shouldn't start it. I guess it would. Because I'm in the seat, yeah, it would start. And right now, with the way this switch is, it's indicating that the seat belt's latched. Well, if I flip that up, now it's like it's unlatched. So now my booms are locked out. But if I flip that down, so that light goes out, it unlocks the controls. Now if I stand up out of the seat, that light came on and my controls are locked out. But if I get back in the seat, well, I did go out. But yeah, the parking light went out, but my controls are still locked. So every time you get in and out of the seat, it's like you got to reset the seat belt. So all I do is go up, go down, and that's all unlocked. So that's what I do on this. Now, like I say, that's, if these are, your spool valves are down here, and if them are locked out, it's either, they're not unlocking, it's either this is in the service setting, or this is bad. Your seatbelt switch is bad, which I jumped with this, or your pressure switches and your seat are bad. Or you got a broken wire somewhere, a bad ground somewhere. Now I'm gonna go get the next thing to help figure this out more, give you other possibility what it might be. I hope this shows up and hopefully maybe it give more of an explanation what to go through to check. Now the problem they were indicating was boom and bucket will not function. Service run switch in the service position. Put the switch in the run position. Boom and bucket solenoids malfunctioning. Check solenoid operation. We'll get to that. Pump shaft broke. Replace relief valve and replace or repair pump. So them are what they're saying would be the reasons why this don't work. I would think if you had a broken pump shaft, you wouldn't be able to move the thing either. Or it could be, well, either way, I would think any of this would be that it wouldn't move or do anything at all. But I'm not going to guarantee that, but that's what to check. So these shouldn't be that hard to figure out. I'm going to show this. This shows check solenoid operation. I believe that was 637. Okay, this is boom and bucket spool lock solenoid test. So this is how you test some solenoids down underneath between your feet. And I'll read through this and you'll have it. Boom and bucket control valve solenoid spool locks are controlled by the EIC. That's the cluster up in the cab. The operator must be in your operator's seat with a seat belt buckled for the EIC to unlock and control valve spool lock solenoids. Operational check procedure. Run service switch in the run position. Sit in seat. Turn ignition key to the on position. Attempt to move the boom and bucket, foot or hand controls. The controls should not move. The control valve spools should not move the control valves from the neutral position. Fasten the seat belt. You do this without the seat belt. Fasten the seat belt. Attempt to move the bucket and foot control hand valves. The control should move the control valve spools from the neutral position. If the EIC shows an error in the readout display, this is an indication of the short open circuit to the solenoid locks. So if there's That's saying that should be, if you do this and you get an error 3, then you know it's something in the solenoids or in the wiring. If it's an error 2, I believe that's a fuel issue. I forget right offhand. Lower the booms and attach or remove or put on the bucket lock. So you want them down on something safe. Raise the seat and latch securely in the raised latch position. Remove the step shield. That's what's in between your legs from the control valve to access the solenoid locks. Unplug one solenoid. That's be these two here. One at a time, and check for battery voltage at the main wiring harness. Plug pink, light blue, and black wires. Let me read this. At the main wiring harness plugs. Okay. Pink, light blue, and black wires. Okay, that'd be which. That'd probably be these up here. This would be the main wiring harness. The operator must be in the seat with the seat belt on, buckled, and the ignition switch in the on position. If both solenoids are unplugged, the EIC will show an error 3 and there will be no voltage from the EIC to the solenoids. If there is battery voltage at the solenoids, remove the coils and check their operation. If the plunger moves in when power is applied, check for binding when the coil is threaded into the body. Check for spools, centering to allow the coil plunger to seat into the groove in the spool. So I'm going to assume you disconnect one of these, you plug a voltage meter on these, you got to get back in the seat with the key on, and you should get voltage. And then you plug this one back in, test this one over here. And if you don't get no voltage in one of these, more than likely you got a broken wire somewhere. If the lockout solenoids are loosened or removed from the control valve body, the pedals are no longer locked. The pedals are hand control movement result in spool movement. So you gotta make sure it's on something solid, because if you end up pulling, I think that's gonna be the solenoid there, it's not gonna lock it out. So then that's the other thing could be, like I say, you're not getting voltage to these. And again, that could be something in the wiring in one of these other switches. But again, if you go through this procedure and everything tests out, the solenoid should be good, I would think. But either way, that's more likely what's going to be the problem. Why the booms and such won't work. So like I say, the pressure switch or safety switch that I replaced has nothing to do with any of this. So it has to be the seat switches, the run switch. Now I've had that before where I've worked that safety or service run switch, and even when I moved it back, it was corroded up in there enough for something wasn't making connection. Might have to snap that a few times to help clean the contacts up in there. Let me go through this and see if there's anything else. It could be, well, just scan down these and it'll give you, this is the troubleshooting section. Like I say, I got the service manuals for these, dealer service manual, so this has pretty much everything in it. So I'm going to scroll down these, and you can pause it and scan them out. Maybe that'll help you figure out something. Like I say, this is one we're going with. Boom and bucket will not function. And these are, they're functioning, but they're raising slowly or jerky. I don't know if that'll do any good. And this is if it gets hot. And that's your or a filter light, and mine don't work, so I don't worry about it. And I'll go through this too. This is hydraulic system testing. This is foot and hand control valve spool locks. The pre-test instructions. You know, you gotta have a hydraulic oil at the proper level, operator and seat switch in the run position, seat belt fastened, ignition switch in the off position. And then it goes through foot and or hand control, boom and bucket. Control should not move. No. Okay, that means the system's okay. And you go on to the next step. If it says yes, excuse me. If it's a yes, then it could be possibly any of these things, and you just keep going through. And then that's when you go with the on position. This is kind of repeat from there before. And if it's yes, the system's okay. When the on position, seatbelt and everything, they should move. And then they say if it's no, then you can keep going down through these things. And there's another hydraulic, proper level, operator and seat, run, on position. Solenoid. Solenoid plunger should move from the spool valve. I'm not sure how you would check that, but instrument cluster, hydraulic oil temp light. Well, mine, the light don't work, but that gives you how to test for that. Hydraulic oil filter light. Boom operation. Boom should move movement? No. Like I said, it's going to be boom linkage bent and stuff. This is all internal damage and stuff. This is more mechanical than electrical on that. Boom lift test. Boom drift down test. I have this issue, but I think it's pretty sure it's a circuit relief valve is not right. It's leaked down for years. It's intermittent, another intermittent problem. And it's for bucket operation. Bucket lift check. Bucket drift down test. I have that problem because I got a leaky cylinder. Spool lock test. Battery voltage at solenoid, yes. System okay, go to 5. And like I say, that's the troubleshooting. That'll help, maybe help figure something out on that. And it's all how to check circuit pressures and stuff. But again, like I say, I hope that maybe helps eliminate some stuff or figure something out. Hope I didn't make it too confusing. I get rambling on, but again, there's everything right there in the troubleshooting section. You can pause it, expand your screen out, and do whatever, just like that. Maybe read it. And again, like I say, I'm not the complete expert on this stuff. Like I say, electrical stuff is one of my short suits, but hopefully that will help figure something more out. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch up with you later.